For example 3, you're going to be given instructions on how to sketch a diagram, and you just draw what's there based on the information. So if you notice, it says to sketch a diagram showing line TV intersecting PQ at point W so that TW and WV are congruent. So if you look carefully, everyone's going to have a slightly different answer here. My version of this would look something like this. We would have a line TV. So we would put what? T here and V here. And then we want line PQ so that TW and WV are equal. So that means that it looks like both of these have W in them. So we would put a W here. And TW and VW have to be equal, so we would put our tick marks here to show that they're equal. Let me erase that, move that out of the way. So this is going to be our, we'll put a W, whoa, W right here. And now we need a segment, so I'll put that in. And that segment is going to be PQ. Goes something like that. With P here, Q here. We go back and double check. We have a line TV. It's intersecting PQ at point W, and we have TW and WV congruent to each other. So we need to just make sure all of those things are there. So again, the first thing we do is we draw TV and label the points T and V, so we have that and that. And you notice my drawing is a little bit different. So step 2, draw point W, which is the midpoint, because we know TW and WV are equal, and mark the congruent segments. Make sure you do that part, because otherwise we don't know if they're congruent. And finally, we would draw segment PQ through W. So it would look something like that. And I would just basically look for common things. Make sure you have all of these parts. Now, we're going to use this picture again, and it says, if the given information stated that PQ and QW are congruent, how would you indicate that? Again, what you do is you would put a tick mark here and a tick mark here, but we would want 2 here and 2 here so that we know that PW and QW are equal, but not necessarily that they're equal to TW and WV. So in other words, if I had put this here and this here, then that would tell me that all 4 of these are equal. We want to state that these are equal, but we don't know if PW is congruent to TW. So that's all you do. You write in words. I would put 2 tick marks on PW and 2 tick marks on WQ. So it looks something like that. Okay? And then it says to name a pair of supplementary angles. Well, there's 4 possibilities here. The ones that I would choose this one and this one. So I would say angle PWT and angle PWV are supplementary. And that would be it. Oh, and explain. Well, the best way to explain it is PWT and PWV are a linear pair. And linear pairs, oops, sorry, linear pairs are supplementary. And you would write it using your own words, but something along those lines would be good. So again, they form a linear pair, so therefore they're supplementary. And finally, it says, which of the statements cannot be assumed from the diagram? If you look in your book on page 97, it has a concept summary about interpreting a diagram and what you can assume and what you can't assume. I would like you to put that in your notes, so make sure you understand it. But this is along the same lines as that. If we look, do we know that A, B, and F are collinear? We do, because they all lie on the same line. E, B, and D, are those collinear? No, they're not. We don't know for sure. It looks like they could be, but we don't have a line connecting them, so we can't assume that. If we look at AB perpendicular to plane S, we've got AB and we've got plane S, and if you notice, we've got this little box here. If we have that box there, then we know that this line is perpendicular to the plane. CD is perpendicular to plane T. We've got CD here and plane T is here. There's no box here, so we don't know if those are perpendicular. And AF intersects BC at point B. Well, we've got AF here, we've got BC here, and we can see the intersection clearly, so we know that that can be assumed to be true. Again, no drawn line connects E, B, and D, so we can't assume that. And if we have no right angle, then we can't assume that those are perpendicular. But everything else is okay. And for this one, can we assume that plane S intersects plane T at line BC? Yes, we can see that the line is where the two planes intersect, so we would say yes. And finally, do we know if AB is perpendicular to BC? We have AB this way and we have BC this way, but we don't have a box that shows the relationship between the two lines, so in this case we can say we don't really, let's see, oh, I'm sorry, I'm absolutely wrong. It says that line AB is perpendicular to plane S, and we know that BC is in plane S, so therefore it would be perpendicular to it as well, and so therefore yes, that is one of your definitions, in fact. A line perpendicular to a plane. If we have that box there, then we know all the lines that are in the plane will be perpendicular to it, so yes, AB and BC are perpendicular. And that's it. Thanks.